Ravden can be as a pick tool, basically point and click in a lot of ways. Just press Q when you have the mark on someone and they have to sit there and be rooted, which can be really nasty with things like the Thresh, who's now landed 2 hooks in a row. Good going there from Jaw.
Yep. Okay, we're now live on Onivia as well, because I found a way to...
Janked it, nice work.
Jank it. I stole a thumbnail from something else with at least the right teams on it.
There we go.
Okay, right, that should hopefully have a little more for that, and then we'll hopefully be able to get to it.
Ooh, that hook lands again. That's 3 in a row. Jaw's got the level 2. Will force a cleanse and a heal. They'll turn back onto the Thresh. But there's still a fairly good chunk there. And the Summoner economy looking pretty good there for an IP bot lane. A heal burn from Jaw, but that's the heal. The cleanse down from about now topside Guwon onto Cube, who does not have a hallowed mist to work with right now. So will be in some very unhallowed dirt when he is buried. Bot lane, Monkey has managed to wrap around here. Potentially look for a gank. Would be a bit risky, I think, so may well just instead look for a topside invade because, of course, Guwon, with that topside play, meant that he was not, in fact, going to be full clearing. Got a good timing, did get the kill, but again, will lose his blue buff for this trade.
Yeah, so we're kind of gaslighting Onivia's chat right now because there's also an extra series of, like, IG top esports on the thumbnail, which is just not there. Yeah. But it's the closest thumbnail I could find, so it's just what we have. Hey, Kuko. Hey, hopefully.
Oh, nearly stole it. Got a little one there. The fight's going to continue here. Nice little chunk there with the first strike. Blast cone takes them both over the wall here. Don't think Monkey's going to want to stick around for the romp, although he is still there. The lane prio looking okay there, but overcomes the Thresh and the rest of the crew.
Potential Lantern gang towards bot side. Oh, the hook lands. That's got to be a kill. Guwon gets his first. In the bot lane. Yes, he got the first one in top lane. Guwon has been on a tear here, and now suddenly 2-0 on the Kiana. The problem here for WE is that every single person on their team gets obliterated by a good Kiana combo. Now, maybe the Gwen and the Xin Zhao can survive it for a little bit, but even then, they're not particularly feeling great about that. Even then, another hook landing.
I think that's 5 of 5 I've seen on screen.
He's been really accurate with them. The recall coming through from Assume, see how much gold he can get from that. Does he go for a cull start, maybe? Goes for the pickaxe instead. Monkey trying to fight on Guwon. He's upper level, though. That will help him.
Yeah, again, the one thing that Guwon has kind of taken as the price of his play has been the fact that it's given Monkey a lot of time to come and invade and cause a bit of a mess. Gets the knock up there, forces a flash, and Guwon's may well have to give up this Krug respawn. No, it's going to reset and get out, but hey, the Summoner is down.
Okay, so Monkey trying to abuse the fact that even though he doesn't have the kills, he does have the XP. That's what he's trying to abuse here. Now, if you can get ahead of that enough, that will actually be a really big problem point. Because already with the camp stolen away, he's going to hit level 6 first before Guwon, unless something changes. He's got his entire own camps to go towards as well. Full top side, full bot side. The only thing not up is his red buff right now. And you can see actually the double Yordle combo of Ziggs and Lulu is warding out that bot side to try and protect those bot camps, because Guwon will really like to get into the other side of the jungle and try and get some of that. He's only got, you know, what, 4.5 camps? That's really not looking great for him.
Yeah, it's been tough. Again, at least the fact that his proactive ganks have been successful. Another hook from Jaw. That's 6, I think, I've seen on screen. I genuinely don't think I've seen him miss a hook yet.
Me neither. That being said, I was looking at the other screen, so I had to sort out some stream stuff on the side.
That's so true.
I'm not as a reliable person here. See that Guwon's going towards that bot side. I think with the hooks landing, Guwon will at least get access to Krugs. Yeah. We'll see if he gets access to Raptors. I think Ziggs being around means that no, that might not be the case. But as you can see, Monkey clearing towards bot side. Potential now of, look, Draw could always just flash for something. Don't tell me he gets another hook from this angle too. If he lands this, then I think Guwon kills actually. But doesn't find the timing.
Yeah, it doesn't quite. Now topside, Hoya potentially in danger as Monkey is around. That could give some license to at least take the dragon on the other side. But with the wind becoming lightning, it's decent from Hoya there. Gets to slice the dice. And did get the stun as well. The needles come flying on through. There's the Dominus brought down. It'll cost an extra ult. But it's still a done deal. And WE get a kill on the top lane. And it goes the way of Monkey.
Guwon does end up getting the camp's bot side for this, but as you were saying, Monkey feels really happy on that. Well, okay, he would feel really happy unless this leads to a kill here.
This could get pretty dicey. There's the heal. Everyone's waiting. Double flay. About having a bad time and goes down. Jewel missed. Or so it lands another hook. What am I talking about? The Severum Crescendum comes on forwards. The heal is required from Yao Yao. Does keep himself just about alive, but a 1-for-1 with the turret. The problem is who gets the kills and how.
Even in death, Draw doesn't miss the hook. Even in death, good bomb combo. onto Care there, using the offensive satchel as well, because he doesn't feel like there's anything he needs to be paying attention to. Care is keeping up in gold with Karis, though. He's completely even in farms. This mid lane matchup is actually completely fine. I have pinged Discord now, by the way, Zareth. Yes, and for those asking in chat, yes, we are live back again on YouTube today. Basically, when you're on Twitch front page, you can't have YouTube stream running, which is why we didn't have that running yesterday.
And the spellbook for the Thresh has allowed him to get a TP, so to keep your eyes on that can sometimes lead to some shenanigans at this point in the game.
Well, you know what they say, Sam, if you shenan once, you might shenan again.
That
wasn't actually...
once.
I feel like that wasn't funny enough to have like a full laughter thing, but this is the thing I appreciate about you, Sam. You do laugh even when it's not actually particularly funny, and it makes me sound a lot more comedic than I am.
It is a requirement. It is a requirement.
Thank you, chat. Yeah, see, chat's also been completely conditioned into this too. See if Droll lands another hook here. He does potentially have the ability to land forwards.
Let's assume to a decent spot. The ghost is going to be popped there by someone. That will be assumed throwing it in. Gets the Moonlight Vigil about. Does not enjoy the combo.
Ow, the reset on the auto is coming through. Monkey's now down here, though, and it is a 2v3.
He's got chakrams. He's put down the central turret. Got grab him to work with. That will allow for the root. Jaw gets to flay back. It might well lead to the death of the Thresh. Going to try and play this one out. Get some damage back to the Crescent Guard. The hook. Monkey's going to get caught under the turret. And they get one back somehow.
Seb, you know in Counter-Strike we have like LAN teams and online teams? Seb, I wonder if Draw is just like the GOAT of online play. Maybe it's just the stage which is doing it too. God's coming bot side. They have the level 6, but here comes about.
Oh, it's close to shield, but that will still be a dead about. They do bring down Assume. Alas, though, even with the polymorph, that's not going to keep about safe. He's going to try and get both. Can't quite do it. Yao forced to flash.
Yeah, it does get the extra summoner. Seb, Draw's just the online GOAT. What can I say? This guy... Show me this guy's player cam. Perhaps he's been replaced by Carrier.
Let's have a look. What happened in the mid lane here as well? A bit of a satchel play?
Well, he did end up getting away from the wall there, interestingly. Did he die for it? He didn't. No, he even splashed out. You know what? That's a pretty good escape, given the angle. When you've got potential of Kiana Azir combo, which is a combo, by the way, because Azir... The great thing about Azir is that he sets up... He's a bring your wall to work person.
Yeah.
Anyone with a wall stun combo at that point, you know, Vayne, Poppy, Kiana, does get some pretty nasty stuff. Even Bard, right, for the Q stun.
That's the one. Guwon also going to be the first person to get a full item completed because he's got 4 kills, and as a result has a Profane Hydra.
Oh, yep, you know, he's invested in hydrocarbons. He's got rid of, what are the other ones which are famous? There's like...
There's Underground, there's Most Wanted, there's Hot Pursuit.
I was thinking about, you know, like Hexane and like... all these other things.
I just wanted to really get you with a non-sequitur there.
What's your opinion on butane, Sam?
Butane is in the eye of the beholder, Alex.
No, shut up. Oh, that's Sam. No, that's actually good. Ah, how did you manage to get something good out of that? That's so dumb. Oh, okay, whatever.
Because I'm cracked. Like you crack hydrocarbons.
Yeah,
Alex. That's it.
Yeah, that's also.
There you see.
How do you remember this stuff? You haven't done this since like secondary school.
I could have been a chemical engineer, but alas, a dog beat me over the fence.
The lesser known Halo skull. No, I can't think of anything for Grand Birthday Party. Cube trading on some Hoya.
Yay!
He's got the last of the needles, trying to time off the anti-heal. Hoya, does he have a Q?
Ooh, he's going to be close. He's got a lot of rage. Does have the Q. What about the W? The slice of dice. The snip is buffered through the stun.
Yeah, it's a really good use of the ignite from Cube. I'm just surprised it was a complete rundown kill. Hoya gets blasted. Very surprised he died so easily.
Arc of Ruin hits 2, but there's the Severum healing, and Assume gets to keep also. You've got a wild growth, but there's nothing to grow. And Joe finally misses a hook because the target he was aiming at died.
Yeah, I think we count that as an honorary hook. Assume pulls out the Emo Plague, uses the budget Vladimir ultimate to give him the heal, and Assume lives through it. 30 CS up now, plates down, and so much of it's due to this Thresh. Dro's been so good. If this guy doesn't get player of the game, something is deeply unjust about this world we live in, Sam.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, like, to be honest, like, there's not much more you can do on the Thresh, right? The Lantern gags have been good, the flays have been good, the hooks have been giga accurate. That's about as good as it gets for a Thresh, outside of seeing some 4D chess pulling people with hooks and Lantern combos to get wild things happening.
Yeah. No, thanks for the follow that. Funnily enough, that reminded me. So for the first time in a long time, I watched some Markiplier videos because I was never really a Markiplier player kind of viewer. And I watched this thing called Iron Lung, which is a horror game about going through an ocean of blood. It's only slightly less terrifying than running into Shinzao Lulu in your jungle.
But it's a several crescendo, and I don't think Monkey's enjoying this as much as I think he used to. There's the group, but he's almost healing! The double knock-up!
Oh, it's so close! He almost gets the extra Severum, Crescendo Morto with the Chakrams there. And Monkey ends up getting an important kill. This has started to take the wind out of the bottom lane pressure here. If they'd gotten that kill, I think it would have been so doomed, really. And you see the actual overall gold has ended up being okay. Good wave clear there from Karis to make sure he doesn't lose anything on the turret. But yeah, anyway, I was watching Iron Lung, his original playthrough, because he just made a movie on it.
He did?
Yeah, which is, so I was thinking, oh, well, okay, I'll go watch the videos on it, see what he saw in the actual game itself. I forgot yesterday's LPL was a banger. Yeah, it was really cool. Yeah, and yeah, thanks for the kind words there as well. Yeah, no, it's funnily enough, both us and Eragon both had front page at the same time, so we both ended up having like the same idea.
LPL day, yeah.
So we basically ended up having like an LPL invasion of front page, which I found quite funny. And yeah, we peaked at about 2.8 thousand people watching, which was very,
awesome.
very cool. About does see the Thresh, so you'd hope he doesn't get hooked on that one.
Yeah, the problem was it was the Kiana in the bush that he didn't see that was worrying me. He does control Warden, so we'll be alright. Assume, though, still gets the wave shove, and there's still a big CS discrepancy bot. That has been problematic.
Honestly, what are your opinions on both supports playing out of their minds and both ADCs being out of their minds? Well, yeah, that's sometimes the way of things. AD carries. You know that one gif of that deer which just keeps running into the pool? Feels like a bit of that. We're about to see him have... Like, I don't know whether being disconnected from LAN and instead playing online has also disconnected their sense of well-being and sense of safety. But yeah, the supports are doing overtime, trying to keep them safe.
And in fairness, Lulu and Thresh do sort of give you that kind of additional swagger for better or worse as an AD carry. And in fairness, I think both of them have played pretty well. Yao Yao has actually managed to come back in the lane that I was really worried about, and that's good credit to him and Monkey kind of duoing up to make Assume's life a little bit trickier. And it's like, we've been 1 or 2 autos away from Assume picking up 2 more kills here, which I think could have made a lot of those players feel a lot worse than they ended up being.
Okay. The problem was that last message had like an honestly, so I actually think that I've now done it injustice by not actually thinking about it like seriously. I think that Joao is a player that has had some very high peaks. Of course, he had them on NIP for a little bit too. He was the guy that kind of reintroduced lane swaps to the modern meta. Of course, they've then completely destroyed the meta, trying to do away with them in the last few international events, the last few years of patches. But Joao occasionally revisit that upper playmaking, which is, it just makes me feel sad that we haven't been able to see that as much consistently. Yao on the other side, a player who never really impressed me at an LPL level, so I'm kind of waiting to see if he can do that. You know, if his Enchanter play is something that he can throw out pretty well, and that actually unlocks about. That's something which will add to kind of like, I suppose, to the character folder somewhere in the filing cabinet of him.
Exactly that. Thought cabinet, new thought unlocks, all those kinds of things. Monkey just gets sped up there. Just like goes in. Okay, Monkey.
He has a Lulu behind him.
Lulu flashes him for the wild growth. You're absolutely right. But now Assume is here. The supreme display of talent. And an Emperor's Divide, and they've just gone way too far. Monkey's done a decent job, but another hook prevents the kill. Jaw flashes out, and NIP monster the team fight. Sure, they lose Guwon, but they get 3 in trade.
Sam, I watched a Lulu flash in for a wild growth. I just watched Yao Yao flash in to try and ult his jungler. I appreciate the thought, little Yordle, but I think in this case, as we watch in the replay, probably did not help in this case. Flashes for the wild growth, but Care's already got out of the play. I think if Care was in melee range and he also gets hit by that combo, maybe it would have worked. And it's a triple ultimate through from the Kiana, even gets the stun onto Karis, and it sets up so well for the ultimate coming through from the Azir. You can see how powerful both teams they can play around their supports. Care's dead.
Looks like he managed to get the turret bot side, but then got a little bit of a gank occurring. And will go down. Karis picks up that kill, gets him 2 on the board now as well. I think he picked up 1 in that last play as well, so that's good for the little Ziggs.
Guwon's so fed, Sam. 5 kills, 1.6k up. Hook finally misses. That's our first, I think, actually legit miss. Joao has been so incredibly good on them. He's got like a 95% accuracy rate on them.
That's pretty good for a hook. The sentences have meant death on the whole, rather than just...
Yeah, at this point, it's like it's a death paragraph.
Oh! Flash misses the auto, not quite in range.
Flashes. I think if he'd just taken the flash, he would have been so happy. They didn't quite get the reaction time. We'll call that an online diff. It's a ping diff, folks. But damn, really bullying about in the 1v2. Well, 1v1 there, really. Joao helping out just a little bit on the Thresh.
overcomes WE, but they will be walking through some very scary numbers. Guwon is here. Monkey needs to be quite careful, as does Yao Yao, who does not have the flash or the heal. Yordle is great at keeping other people alive, not the best at staying alive themselves necessarily. Assume can't quite get that satchel and does take a little chunk.
After watching yesterday's series, pretty sure basically you say Bin and On, but then you get Tarzan, Shanks, and Viper to beat like the best Korean teams. I mean, I think I'm kind of holding my breath to see what happens with Bin, because, you know, he had that one really good game on the Ambassador.
Yeah.
The rest of the series is a little bit more mixed. Again, of course, if Bin ever gets back to form, then the question is open, right? Shanks was player of the series yesterday, I think quite notably so. Tarzan quite clearly best jungler in LPL. There were a lot of negative comments about On after that series, and I do understand the Bard wasn't great, but that's just... sometimes with On you have to kind of buy into the inconsistency, just hope that you high roll with him. Of course his upper level is very, very high. Yeah, interesting that you choose that 5. I mean, I'm sure there's an argument to make for it, but right now, obviously, AL definitely leading the charge.
Lantern, box, Monkey gets the knock-up, Assume gets slowed by the Lantern, Smite, rather, and then comes a Mega Inferno on about, gets that kill, and they can keep running. This is still the Shinzai with the Lulu behind. Gonna try and find some value with Guwon, trying to get on top of Cube, does get the Supreme Display of Talent. They've lost the Thresh, it's a 1 for 2 right now in the favor of WE.
Oh my
now
god.
with the Crescent Guard, and again, Shinzao keeps altering. The passive value is obscene. He audacious charges in again.
I think he can even stop the recall here, maybe, if he wants to. The Shinzao Lulu is beating out like an early game Renekton. That's not how it's meant to happen, Sam. Shinzao Lulu is really nasty. W doesn't land, but he had already used the E anyway. Karis could go up and potentially land a bomb in there. The game is still very even. Reminder of the stakes here, folks. Winner of this goes first in Perseverance and faces off against Invictus Gaming in the first round of the Night's Road. Now, why is that important? Well, because in second place, in second seed, I suppose, from... or rather, like, the top seed coming through is Top Esports, right? So if you go through second seed, you'll face off against them too. And Top Esports actually look very good. So you want to avoid that matchup. Winner of this gets an easier path through into playoffs proper. And these junglers are really trying to give themselves the leg up. That Shinzao Lulu is so disgusting.
At the very least, Guwon gets one onto Cube there to get something back, but it's still pretty rough. And again, fortunately for Assume, there was kind of caught mid-weapon rotations on the Calibrum Gravitum. Not exactly the best survival kiting guns there, per se, at that point, once the Shinzao's on top of you.
Yeah, see that Monkey again is just attached at the hip to Yao Yao, and you're like, we saw how much Yao Yao was willing to commit to the cause earlier by flashing into ult that jungler, but really Monkey now getting back into the game. I know he's behind in gold, it doesn't particularly matter.
That's close, gonna have to go over the wall here. There's Cube behind, Guwon's dead.
He's dead, about picks up the kill, and I'm just looking at the map now. There's no one even on his side of the map. You know, Kez there running back from lane. Big overstep from Guwon, and when he starts falling behind, that could be a huge issue, because as we said, Monkey might be behind in gold, but he's actually arguably even stronger in some situations because of the Lulu.
I get, you see Monkey on the other side of the map, you're a 6-kill Kiana, anyone face checks you, they die, is the idea, but the Ziggs doesn't have to, he just sits 3 miles away and pokes you out, and there's a TP behind, so you can't even escape.
Yeah. Yeah, we noticed that on stream as well with the, like, Bard, that's a, okay. The
that
grub,
one missed.
Yeah, it did, but the grub spawned in front of him, what can you do? Again, Joy is my goat, my Thresh goat, my online goat, Sam. Yeah, we did notice that live as well, that went on Flash to try and get the Corky Q, those the Renekton in the brush. That felt particularly bad. I didn't hold that one against him for sure. Yeah, again, that series yesterday, folks, if you didn't catch, BLJAL, very, very fun. Anyone's Legend walking away with a 2-1, securing first seed from Group Ascend, so they are currently, again, best team within the LPL. Clearly, now I think actually they were 2 series clear even with that one. BLG forced back down into second, waiting to see if they can scale up to their kind of super roster's intended goals.
That'll be the plan, and again, yeah, that flash in the bush kind of sucked, it must be said.
Yeah. It wasn't a crazy amount. Yeah, I mean, the vision control from Anyone's Legend in that game 3. I know we're talking about series which happened yesterday and whatever, and we should probably be focusing on this one, but folks, it's a really good series.
It was.
30 seconds till Dragon now. Both Dragons have one Dragon apiece, and both teams are pretty even in gold. W, slight gold lead, do have the grubs as well. These fights should be even though, and that's going to be really fun. You know, we've seen all of our teams in Group Perseverance take series off of each other now. You know, EDG, WE, and IP were all 1-1 against each other. It was just game score, which should change the top 3. And of course, WE and NIP had exactly the same game score and head-to-head against each other, which is why we ended up in the tiebreaker in the first place. Dragon now spawning. And I'm looking at these next fights, and it really does depend about the terrain they choose and who gets into the play first. You know, if it becomes about Monkey dashing after various people, being whimsy, funnily enough, About's there as like a 2-item Nymaera, and I'm like, buddy, you're not the main carry now. It is actually the Shin's out 2 items. Even though he's behind in gold, I look at Monkey and I'm like, yeah, he will destroy it. NIP choosing not to contest the dragon, though. They're going to go towards top side instead. Do W have anything to contest with? No, Ziggs is throwing a bomb in and 2. Can't really do that much about it. Might lose themselves the top lane turret. So W, of course, one of the reasons they're so far ahead in gold is, of course, they have 4 turrets to 2. NIP starting to get some of that standing gold back.
Okay, Baron up and available, worth noting. I don't think either team is necessarily going to rush it. Of course, you do have things like the Gwen. You've got a Thelios, Zir. Both pretty good at rushing those neutral objectives down with the right setup. Care, by the by, has gone for the Shadow Flame second alongside those Spell Slinger shoes. So actually at this point on the Azir, you do really hurt the squishies pretty heavily here. You know, we mentioned it in lane, we saw it get that kill for Q, but again, it is worth noting, of course, the Ignite on the Gwen gives her a little bit more threat in the 1v1s, even if she doesn't get that crazy teleport shield. But I am glad to see a little bit of those non-teleport summoners being run top lane here and there.
Go on, going into the bot side jungle. Of course, go on individually, still... Oh my god, he's got 3.5 items, man.
He's very scary.
You know, we've talked about Monkey being very powerful because of the combo. In the 1v1, though... Oh, I'm so sorry, Cube. If you don't get a good W reaction here, it could be death.
Smite face check. He does. I think he's in a very, very bad spot. The flash on Guwon. Doesn't want to try and look for it.
Yeah, it's actually quite hard. If he reacts well and just puts the W furthest away from you, you can't... Well, even if you just press the W, you can't press E on the Gwen. So you can't dash in, so you'd have to be able to W into the wall or flash for your ult. It's actually quite hard to get onto the Gwen if they react well.
Oh, yeah. Trying to recall him this push. I think he's been interrupted. He's dead now, isn't he? No, they won't quite have enough lockdown there. I worried there for a second with the Shins out right next to him. Does get chunked, and you can see why I was worried. But again, the lack of immediate CC allows him to slide away.
I did wonder if there was any CC that landed, whether he would just straight up die. He's not a very tanky Renekton. He's got a Hex Drinker against a lot of physical damage on this top side of the map. Good damage there from Karis. Gets the satchel on target. And credit to Karis. You know, we were saying he's struggling recently. It's been a pretty fine game from him. 2-0-1, throwing out ults at the right times. Not really been the main character. Guwon going for the 1v1 in jungle.
There's the wild growth by Monkey a lot of time. Flash for the lantern. I don't know whether that was absolutely required, but either way, Monkey continuing to be a menace here, and we'll get the additional summoners despite being caught.
Okay, so you can see that kind of damage check in the jungle. Guwon, yeah, going up against the steel caps of Monkey, those Ninja Tabi. Has the Lulu behind him. Even though it's a very fed Kiana, the Shinzao actually wins with the Lulu there. Then this is why, you know, over the last week, we finally rediscovered this Lulu Shinzao combo, which has technically been very powerful for a very long time. Sam,
it's not new tech.
It's not new tech. And in some ways, Sam, this somewhat frustrates me, because I'm like, guys, this has been OP since, like, 2021.
Yeah.
Like, you could have played this for a very long time, and some people did try it, but, like, you know, some teams tried it, didn't quite master it, and then they had to go figure out how to play it.
And enchanted lane swaps were risky, and all those kind of things made it a bit harder, because you couldn't, like, apply the pressure from the lane that you'd pick him for in the first place.
Baron's now started. NIP, I mean, they can look to throw the Thresh over the wall if they want with the hook. Go on, coming over.
One is also here, indeed, as you noted. Let's try and get in here. There is a supreme display of talent up and available. The hook goes wide this time from Jor. So to get into the pit, the Crescent Guard is down. Mega Inferno Bomb does come on in. Cube slides over the pit, into the pit. We go, and Kiana steals it. Guwon, important step. What about the fight after his Monkey goes over the wall? He is such a problem. Assume with Severum Infernum can try and trade this out with care here. The shuffle away means they do kill off Monkey.
Yeah, Monkey goes a little too far, but they were trying to look for exit kills, deny some of the Baron buff. It's a great steal from the Kiana, who does it themselves. WE, you had to keep the jungler away from the pit. Going for a flip that might actually cost you first seed in this group.
That was really not great. I don't know what else to say. You try to start the Baron up, you've got the DPS, that's not the issue. You've just got to keep the Kiana out, and you don't.
And NIP now have just a God-given gift here. They'll be able, remember folks, they're behind in towers, but pretty much even in gold. If they get those towers, they'll start slingshotting ahead. Dragons in a minute, Baron will overlap with that. That will be really important to deny WE their third dragon and a threat of soul later. So we'll look back at the steal again, because one of the big things about this comp from W is that they don't have a great amount of CC. Now Guwon just hops over, nothing stopping him, just gets in. You don't have stuff like Leona, Nautilus, Alistair to just instantly CC someone, and I think that's really working against them here. So you can't really lock down the targets and keep them away from the pit.
And then Monkey tries to get some more and then just gets shuffled away. And the thing is, Xin Zhao doesn't heal if he can't auto-use, so the Emperor's Divide can be quite annoying for him.
Yeah, I really wonder whether WE should have looked for a harder turn. Just going for a flip like that, it's a flip in the truest sense. You don't have a great smite secure. Here comes Guwon.
The Death Sentence goes wide this time. The Wild Growth, the double knock-up. Guwon just going to Supreme Display a talent back. There's the Mega Inferno Bomb turn around. A lot of ults. Can Hoya get over the wall here? He can! That's a lot of damage from this Renekton, who's really hunting for more. In comes the rest as Care slides in as well. And the Emperor of Shurima makes his will known. Will slide over the wall with Hoya, and the hooks just lands this time onto Cube for play after. That puts the Gwen in a horrible spot. The ult, the Moonlight Vigil lands and allows Asun to get more moonshots off. And then IP find more kills in the fight. They keep all their members alive.
Yeah, WE wanted to get some kills to try and stop the Baron push and stop the Dragon going over. If they didn't find a fight then, NIP would slowly kind of crush out the game. But now they've doubled down on it. They'll lose 3 kills. NIP get the Dragon. They'll get some extra turrets across the map. And this is where the game really starts to fall apart. Hook misses. Monkey says, right, I'm in a choke point. Lulu's behind me. Now's the time I fight. It's not bad from him. It's just no damage is in position at that point. About isn't in distance to get any damage down, and of course the Gwen is still on the way. They're not close enough to the play, so while I don't think Monkey finds a bad angle for himself personally, I think for the team they just weren't in position.
Hoya just about managed to slice Dice out and dodges those needles. The hook landing there is such an additional point of pain.
Again, still, Draw is still my MVP for this game. Like, this Thresh has been really, really insane. Really enjoyed watching his Thresh play. Reminder, folks, that this is being played online because it's kind of like the extra day added on to the schedule here. Monkey does get the spell shot off of Care. He doesn't like that, though, does he?
No, there can be a Binding Eclipse which is going to allow Guwon to go forward. Throws out the edge of Ixtal. Won't force something like the Supreme Display of Talent. Monkey's still left at 20% HP, not having fun there. And Hoya is now very scary. Stridebreaker Shojin gives him a lot of DPS.
Yeah, given how poor his early game was, that last fight was exceptional from Hoya, flashing into 3.
Boom! Will go down. The Death Sentence allows a response to bring both AD carries into the dirt.
Yeah, I think that About knew he was going down, but getting one against the grain there feels pretty good. Hoya pushing in this bot side. No, About. Fair play. Gets the extra buffs up from the Lulu behind him. Lunara Lulu and Xin Zhao Lulu, both very powerful duos. And you can see why that.
There we go. Edge of Night. Now completed for Guwon. Makes him a lot harder to bring down. 3.5 items for Asun. Not far off. In fact, it is 4, in fact, for About, who's up 1,300 gold. If there is a win condition, look, at this point of the game, Lunara Lulu might do the work as well, assuming you're given a platform to work with. Really, WE, for my money, could well and should well have won the game from the position they were in until they threw around that Baron. It was an unfortunate state of affairs, to say the least.
Okay, so let's have a think again. Let's have a think again about what WE can do at this point. 2,000 gold behind. It's not crushing, actually. That's not crushing. You can still play around that. You know, Monkey has a 3rd item. Still have the Lulu behind them as well, and of course About's now on 4 in bot lane, and Karis and Cube are going to do significant damage even if the gold is against them. So NIP can't afford to sleepwalk through this one. If you do get randomly caught, the damage is pretty intense. We saw that from About. And the Dragons aren't threatening like an Ocean Soul just yet from NIP. So NIP, while they're in the advantage, this is now a competitive game. The Baron really hurts WE, but it hasn't thrown it just yet.
We'll note, however, it has earned Care a death cap. Now, he is really scary. We've looked at a lot of other members in this game, but I think Care quietly been doing some fairly good DPS here, and that death cap in with a Shadow Flame and the rest of it could be pretty damn scary. Oh yeah, we'll munch on that cannon minion there. Both these top laners had their moments. It's not really been about them so much as them getting caught every now and then. Speaking of...
Yeah, I mean, that is a pretty scary Kiana coming down. No one's coming to help the Gwen.
Yeah, not bad healing there from the threaded volley. That's where I got threaded volley from. That's Talia. There's no volleys to be found here. This ain't tennis. Not bad work, in fairness, from Cube.
Yeah, the W was just at the worst possible timing for Guwon coming into the lane. He's like, aha, I'm going to pop this. Resist the fight, Renekton in melee range, and then Kiana comes around the corner and you say, I can't dodge out the skill shots anymore. That's a bit of a problem. Guwon has had a massive impact on this game. You know, the Kiana got very, very far ahead very early with the ganks in top lane and in bot lane. Yeah, again, you know, been focusing a lot on Draw because he's been really good, in fairness, but Guwon, another key part of this team as well. And I have to say, the reasons why I thought this game would be NIP favored, or this series would be NIP favored, they've been winning, but it hasn't been for those reasons. Baron's now started up, about half HP. Now, that's his Zigzag coming through to chunk them out. He was quite low HP, you know.
He is quite, but there goes the Baron. Another Death Sentence lands. The Moonlight Vigil comes on forward as well, and that means a lot of moonshots. In goes Hoya. Monkey not having fun there. Another Death Sentence prevents him from doing too much as Karis has to flash away from Care, who throws down a soldier with the Arise. Won't have an opportunity to slide on forward. About tries to get something at the back end of the play and just can't.
That's some pretty insane damage from Assume, actually. That triple ult onto the backline kind of stopped the team fight before it started, and I think this will be the end of the game now. NIP took the earlier Baron steal and will turn it into crushing map pressure, which W have not really been able to fight back against. They haven't had a good fight since that Baron went down.
No, not really, and that is just a problem, isn't it?
You know, I think in another world, they don't give up that Baron. I think they're still fine around playing about Xin Zhao jumping forwards, the Lulu getting the random extra CC actually with the wild growth onto the Xin Zhao to allow the Ziggs to one-shot the first person into the play. But I think as soon as that Baron went down, went over into the Dragon, they didn't have the vision control, didn't have the lane push. And that they're going to be really haunted by that Baron. Some games are just about throws, and sadly, this one seems like it is a little bit about that from that big objective earlier.
Dragon goes down. NIP find themselves up 5,500 gold, Soul Point very firmly in command of this game at this point. 2,000 gold is yet was playable. This feels significantly less so, and unfortunately, the power of things like that Xin Zhao Lulu just doesn't feel like it's really as strong anymore. You're not really getting to survive through to heal anymore. The drain tanking isn't occurring.
Yeah, and while you do have the Lulu busted behind the Yunara as well, when you get to this point in the game as the Aphelios, even if you jump up into him, he can just one-shot you. That's one of the great things about the Aphelios and what he's played into Yunara is that he's one of the very few AD carries that can out-DPS you in the straight burst fight as an AD carry. Care has that tower behind him. Got that kind of like little base tower behind that. Level 18. Very happy to walk up with a crazy amount of damage himself, actually. Shadow Flame and that Death Cap. You've highlighted that one before, I believe. That might have been zoned out.
I did, yes.
Okay, well, I'm glad I trusted you to have highlighted that before then, and he will be hurting.
Monkey will try his best here with Cuba. And again, you do still have a Gwen at 3 items. You've got a 3.5 item Ziggs, 4 items on the Yunara. It's all there, assuming you've got a platform to work on. The problem is diving in right now just feels like a bit of a, no pun intended, death sentence.
Now again, it's more like a paragraph at this point. We're going to like write a short novel. Care jumps onto by about, pops the ult.
Flash. That means Gu1 will come away from the blue buff. They do get that additional summoner, I suppose. The problem is it's going to cost them a mid lane inhibitor turret, and possibly the inhibitor as well afterwards, as Hoya is going to ult there. I don't know what the cube did as well. Doesn't look like it. The needlework's still available. Lantern out of the base for Assume.
Yeah, Hoya, I think, just trying to keep Cube, keep him true to this bot lane, so you can't leave anywhere else, and I get to keep pushing in that wave as well. Now, I think with the base broken now, I mean, even with the Baron buff falling off, it's very hard for W, I think, to survive against the threat of the hooks, and the Aphelios hook just misses.
My days, I think that whimsy was necessary there from Yao Yao. Just about gave him the breath of air required to get away. Unfortunately, Monkey was hooked, but did have a Mikhails behind him, will be okay.
The Mikhails keeps Monkey safe there himself. Dragon in 3 minutes would be Ocean Soul for NIP. I think they probably will need that fight just to kind of force WE to come out of defensive mode. End of the day, they do have a Ziggs, which will keep one of the waves out of the turret pretty much permanently. They'll go back to base. I think Guan's looking for Guardian Angel last item. See if he gets to afford that before the last fight. See that Assume has a Bloodthirster too now, which is really, really bad news for WE. They do have 1 bit of anti-heal in the Ignite from Cube. They have no others, which could be a bit problematic. It's a word we like to use here because it sounds nice, and in this case, actually very, very, very descriptive. If Assume hits you with all that damage and heals off of all of that damage,
You have a bad time.
you have a really bad time. Yeah.
You are relatively short range here as a composition. Well, there's a lot of relatively short range champions, with the exception of the Ziggs. It means the Hurricane Bloodthirst orders. Just a lot of people to heal off.
Yeah, and it's stuff like if you have the Severum as a weapon as well, you end up getting like 30% lifesteal.
It's pretty silly, yes.
And into late game, you get like a mega crit, goes kind of insane actually. So Guon's heading around this bot side, Inhibitor is down in mid lane. Guon is at the point too where again he'll just one-shot people, and he has the GA, so he can be a little bit more discerning about that too.
I half wonder whether Monkey shouldn't have gone for the Randu instead. I'm not sure how much value it's really got. I know the slow is nice, but I do wonder whether something like a Sterax
I'm not gonna lie,
or a Tear might have helped.
I don't think it changes much.
Yeah.
I think at that point it's like you either choose a good angle or a bad angle. You have a Sundered Sky and a Black Cleaver. What else can you do at that point?
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Is that one auto attack onto a bow? Jeez.
I think it might have been a Binding Eclipse as well, but yes.
Yeah, okay, effectively one auto attack. WE, I suppose they're just waiting to see if they can get an angle onto the dragon. They have zero but visual on the spot side of the map. And again, folks, reminder, winner of this series, which is a Fearless Best of 3, which we initially didn't plan to have. It's just because it's the extra day after regular season, and they were like, yeah, tiebreakers. Can't book an arena for this one on such short notice. Basically ended up being, yeah, it's being played online, but it will determine who goes first in our middle group, Group Perseverance.
Indeed.
Is Runon's even worth buying on Aphelios? Surely PD is 1000% better. Aphelios, so Hurricane has some limited value in terms of it allows you to save more ammunition so you have your guns up in the correct order that you want for a fight for a little longer, so you don't have to burn through them as quickly.
Good thought,
and also means if you hit your Calibrum, you can sometimes get some incredibly long, crazy long range Hurricane shots, which goes wild. Ooh, ow! Azir damage!
Yeah, Azir kind of stinks at this point. The additional ult not required there. They're going to satchel the Sun Disc. They are.
They are. They needed to push up mid lane. Now that's sure something.
Oh, Monkey gets wild growth and it means absolutely nothing. Care gets tagged by the outer ring of the Mega Inferno Bomb, but nothing else. The Needles do not pick up the Scuttle Crab, and Monkey sees a Monkey don't.
I mean, WE bring a wild growth and go on brings a lawnmower. They just cut them. They just cut all the plants down to size. It's the pesticide combo. NIP will end up taking Baron through that. They'll go down towards the bot side of the map, courtesy of a lantern as well. They'll get themselves the Ocean Soul, and that will be victory lap enabled.
I'm just not sure who face checks this game from WE at this point. Anyone who goes in dies a horrible death, and Diana is real scary at this point.
And look, personally, I'm not blaming Monkey in this game. You know, I mean, the Baron flip earlier wasn't great. That's the bit which is a team call, but then beyond that point, it just felt like the Shinzao, even with the Lulu, just gets burst out and you can't play that combo anymore. But who else walks forwards? It's only the Shinzao that can walk forwards,
maybe
really.
the Gwen.
But she wants to be coming around on a flank.
Yeah.
So I think Monkey just ends up being like losing game frontline scenario.
Sacrificial Monkey.
Sometimes you see that on stuff like Leona Nautilus. I'm not look, some of the angles, yeah, probably could have been better, but I think it's there probably are some caveats which need to be thrown in. Not that W would be feeling good about that anyway.
No. Crystallized proc still available actually on this turret. It's just the minions that are helping take it down right now. That will be the fourth plate just about to fall. Hoya will pick up this inhibitor in the bot lane. Mid lane has already fallen off. Fairly certain the last auto will just destroy this tower. Yeah, it basically does.
It does. So that's all three inhibitor turrets down, 2 inhibitors down. Top one yet to fall, but when it does, that will be the full siege enabled by NIP.
Expected NIPs to be favourite coming into this game, and largely they were. Good early game plays, and then we managed to recover well with the Zhao Lulu until the Baron kind of led them astray. TP back in from Kara, got an Elixir of Sorcery. They want to end right now. Death Sentence goes wide. A rarity this game.
The Kale's used means that they don't have that now for the next Thresh. Hook, that's an ult from Assume.
Oh, Yao Yao has to wild growth himself or he would have died to the Moonshot auto. Unfortunately, that means there's no way to keep the Xin Zhao alive, who does fall down. The Hallowed Mist, the needlework flies from Q, but again, I think he's just been squared. And this mathematical function is solving for an NIP victory in game 1.
And NIP find them set. Well, they solve for the Nexus, and they'll find that this HP equals 0. NIP walk away with game 1 of the series in this tiebreaker to go first in Group Perseverance.
Nicely done. Nicely done. They make it look relatively simple once they got the Baron. It took a little bit of scares to really make sure that they were locked in. You know, they had a good early game, and then it got a bit scrappy, and then we saw Monkey and crew start making some silly things happen in the mid game. We looked at about going, oh wow, it's actually kind of scary. Oh, Karis is landing some of these big ultimates, and then it all went wrong with that Baron play, really, didn't it?
Yeah. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to our. Well, these are truly our last games of the regular season. I got comfy for it because we had a very long day yesterday.
It's true.
And I've realised that we're completely like out of almost all forms of caffeine. A problem, Sam.
I went aboard as coffee.
You did. Okay, I'm gonna go put on some ad break, folks, and we'll, in fact, it's about to start, whatever. We can work with that. Actually, no, we can just. Cool. So W is just if About gets a good game, they win, or else they lose. Normally, I would have thought it's about actually Karis and Monkey. And Karis was fine that game, but yeah, I mean, this game About did not have an easy time with things. He struggled.
Yeah, and I think part of that is like I'm not that convinced with About as a player yet. And as a result, if things go badly for About, he just bleeds gold, which is a real problem. And I do think in general About and Yao Yao have been causing WE across the split a lot of issues. I think at the beginning the split with WE were looking quite good. It was the mid jungle that felt like their point of power. I thought Cube was pretty solid as well. But About and Yao Yao just weren't really it. Arguably About more than Yao Yao, but I think it's, you know, 6 dozen, 6 of one, half dozen the other. That's how that phrase goes.
Yeah.
And 6 a dozen. That's not. That's the phrase very shortened. But yeah, I think this game. It was a good recovery from WE after the early lane, bot lane went very, very poorly. How many hooks did we see land?
Not enough.
No, exactly. And then the fact they did manage to come back with some good sort of like aggressive Shinzao plays. The fact that actually Monkey didn't allow Guwon to just gank for free in the early game, because actually there were some very aggressive early ganks from Guwon that were returned relatively well by those very aggressive invades off the prio. You know, I don't think the early game was necessarily as decisively one-sided outside of that bot lane. But once they did get the lead, you've just got to look at that Baron play. Like, you can't allow that flip to happen the way it did. It was pretty unacceptable, really.
I miss the Monkey Vampire duo. Yeah, I do too. I mean, they were a very fun combo to watch in terms of they'd always go for the aggressive play, and I think they were actually very good team fighters. They're very good team fighters, and I appreciated watching them play. I need to go for a break real quick, Sam, and I'm gonna go seek in search of caffeine.
Okay.
So I'm gonna leave you with the stream for.
That's fine. I will keep an eye on things. If you want to go acquire some caffeine, please do.
I'll try.
Cube did a fair amount of damage there, as did Karis, actually. Credit to him. Again, that's not exactly unexpected when you're on the Ziggs like that. Assume ended up being pretty scary on the Aphelios, which I don't think should surprise people. You know, we saw that beginning to come to fruition across the early stages of that game. What's my favorite German snack? It's a good question, actually. I think I just like the German Kaffee and Kuchen tradition is just great. So a lot of good German cakes to go with coffee. Pretty much any and all of them are pretty excellent. I know that's supposed to be traditionally German, but you know, I think that counts. That's fair. Glad that counts. How's the audio, by the way, guys? Does it need to go down at all? And do we need to switch on Diana? We might do, you know. We do. Right, hang on. That's fine. Okay, 1 second, guys. Where's my mouse? There it is. Good. Fantastic. Again, it's online, so things are a bit different in terms of volume mixing. Thanks, Sheriff. Appreciate you. Thanks, Sylv. Let me put up the other chats as well so I can see everyone. Part of me wants to wish this game ends early. We can get ahead of the 2 best-of-5 days starting Monday. Yeah, it's going to be a whole thing, isn't it? Cool boy. Yeah. Do we have the Wild Rift games today as well? I don't think so. I think it's just an extra day. The Wild Rift games were just for yesterday. Hey, Yoda. Good to see you. Yes, Harold. What's up? Harold, you left your hat here, by the way. It's been here since the first time you visited. But Session Diana volume's a bit high? Okay, interesting. Drop that a little bit. There you go. Yeah, I realised. Sorry, Harold. We should have brought it with us to CJ's. My bad. Kind of spotted it on the floor in my room. Guwon gets player of the game. I think that's pretty reasonable. He was pretty damn good. Although, actually, no. Jaw should still have gotten it. I mean, don't get me wrong, the early ganks were cool. But I actually think Jaw was significantly better. Taking off hats in each other's rooms. I know how uncouth. I know. I know. How could we? Wow, so many people voted for him. I thought, I was to say, the support, the team was all voting for the support. I would have voted support. I think jungle, I mean, don't get me wrong, the Kiana was good. Some great early moves, but I think that Thresh was hitting some mad hooks. I am well surprised by that. Oh, thanks, Sheriff. Oh, I appreciate that a lot. I am actually well surprised. There was so much for jungle over support there. I say this as a jungler who enjoyed that game. Into the ads we go. Ooh, look at that. Fancy planet. Ooh, isn't that exciting? Wow, planets. Yeah. Oh, I'm kind of here. I'm just like chilling out a bit. Not gonna lie, between games. Guwon has always been a bit of a Kiana player, though, to be fair. Because, again, he was LCP for a while. Like, I don't think that game was Monkey's fault, especially. Like, I think it's not necessarily individual player failing that caused the issues, for my money. Reminder again, what's at stake with this one. You win. You get to go forward to top of the group. You lose, bad things. Just don't get to be first. The Shy combo and Riven is still there. Did you guys see the top 20 LoL mechanics video? Azir Revenant Shuffle. We did see a Revenant Shuffle on stage. Alex remembers one. So we have seen a Revenant Shuffle. Kidnap combo, I vaguely remember as well, where you kind of go in and then you kind of drag someone back with you as you go. The Shy combo on the Riven is still there. Yeah, I can see that one. Yeah, that's a pretty nutty combo. For where I'm at, I still think NIP are going to be favored. I feel like it will be a 2-1, probably, knowing these teams. But I think NIP has still got the edge in this matchup, just off recent form and the kind of trajectories we kind of said. We'll see where that actually plays out. Not necessarily that case with these teams. It's been, as we all know at this point, they aren't exactly what you would call consistent. The top teams choose their opponents in the first round, or is it just by order? I think it's order for Knights Rivals. And it is Knights Rivals, by the way. It's been confirmed. They tweeted it out. It's Knight Rivals, not Knight Road. I'm pretty sure it's that way around. I have now confused myself slightly. But yeah, we weren't sure if it was Knights Road or Knights Rivals. Apparently, it's now Knights Rivals again, so we'll wait and see. Back to studio. Should be getting towards draft relatively shortly. Again, because we're online, we don't have to deal with the transition to stage so much, which can make things a little bit smoother sometimes. Not a guarantee, but sometimes. Top teams choose, but they choose to go into order to be polite. I could see that is the thing. I don't know whether that's actually true though. So I thought, let me double check. Let me pull up the where am I looking this? Do we have LPL? Where is Knights Rivals? There's Knights Road, Knights Rivals. I know it's Knights Road on the fandom wiki, but according to LPL English, it's actually Knights Rivals again. So I know.
I was told indeed it was.
No, I was too, but then anyway, I don't know whether they've tweeted out and they've tweeted it wrong, someone. But either way, I'm not sure. But there's been a little bit of initial confusion again.
Everything I've seen is Knights Road.
Yeah.
On all the graphics they've had on the Discord for the LPL, like, wait, we're not in second draft yet?
Nope.
Wait, really?
No, we just got back to studio.
It's a very long time between draft. Oh, did I? Yeah, you got to see my free legs.
Sorry.
Wow, damn.
Spicy.
And let me check.
Yeah, only because I saw something in the LPL English Discord today. And we're into draft now, actually, in fact. So let me.
Well, so actually, funny, yeah. So in the LPL co-streamer Discord, it's called the Knight's Path. So it would be closer to Knight's. That's not clicking the right way. If you click on the taskbar, it won't do it that way. You've got to click on another program.
Okay.
All good. We're good into it now.
Rise looks like the first pick. And interesting, it will be blue side first pick.
Yeah. Yeah.
you,
So as far as I'm aware, it's Knight's Path or Knight's Road. Because again, in the English, like, so from the official LPL people that we talk to, they've said Knight's Path.
Okay.
So Knight's Rivals doesn't seem like it's the correct translation, so it's something which is closer to road or path.
I mean, that makes sense. It was just I saw something in the LPL English Discord saying, they changed it again. I don't know whether I misread it or whatever. It was always that whole thing. Rise wasn't first picked, and then they went towards the Varus. Mundo banned away, interestingly, from Monkey, who has been one of our better Mundo players. That and the Trundle he's kind of had as a back pocket thing there and then.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't... Okay, if it has been changed, I haven't seen where it has been changed. That Varus... About's been good on the Varus, but then again, I feel like if you're not good on Varus as a pro AD carry right now, there isn't much hope for you. No. Varus is like the best AD carry and has been for the last 3 years. I think ever since like 23, Varus has been the best AD carry in the meta, really. To the point where I'm like starting to get... So I'm doing this video on like top 10 AD carry champions of all time, marksman champions of all time. Like, oh my god, Varus just keeps getting stronger.
Yeah.
How has this been allowed to happen? Now, funnily enough, folks, Varus will not be #1 in that list. You'll have to tune in to see which one ends up there. But Varus is definitely climbing the ranks.
I'm curious to see what you'd have at the top.
Sam, don't you worry.
Is it a peak power?
Sam, no, this is about, it's a difference about longevity and peak power. It's like a combination of all things, right? Because, put it this way, Sam, while we don't have Incineroar to really, like, change things up in the way that Wolfie is, Sam, we do have a certain champion which finds a way to break every given meta. And quite fortunately, that one will be in this list. I think you can spell it out for yourselves.
Yes.
No spoilers. So we've got the Rumble, Varus, Taliyah. That's a good combo from WE. You get the global to follow the global of the Rise. I think that Gangplank has been criminally underplayed. I really want to see Gangplank played. I can't believe that it hasn't really been played so far in this meta.
You just run Exhaust and win the top lane versus the Rumble, by the way, guys. That's just how that's the way it works. But no, they're going to go towards the Bard. Jhin Bard, very good CC combo bot lane. You've already got the Taliyah, the Varus, the Rumble, big teamfight skirmish comp from WE with a fair amount of sort of global access there with the, obviously the Weaver's Wall, but Rumble Equalizer, not exactly short range either.
No, it's good long range follow-up that. So now both teams are actually quite artillery focused, you know, in terms of the Jhin Bard, and then you've got Varus Rumble, but then you've got like these mid laners which are more for more for like turning up to the play. You just need a little bit more CC on both sides to kind of form a really nasty kill combo, where effectively someone gets hit and they just immediately get chained into death. No junglers picked either so far, so presumably they're going to get followed into this too. Malphite on one side, Leon and Nautilus on the other.
That's the one. Last ban to come on through. A lot of jungle focus from WE now at this point. I'm going to keep Guwon down, he got the MVP for game 1, by the way, on the Kiana.
He had a really good KDA, but justice for Draw.
Draw
was the MVP.
Got 7 out of 8 of the votes as well. The players voted for Draw.
As they should.
But there you go. But now they're debating an Ambessa here, which is a flex.
I find it quite funny. There was a comment the other day that, oh, Griffin in NA is the only player who's playing Ambessa jungle. I'm like, you do not watch like global League of Legends in NA, yes. And I'm glad that he's playing it over there, by the way. Griffin's one of my favorite players to watch in NA right now. But also, I'm like, guys, there are quite a few players who are actually quite good at this champion over there. Rakan locked in for Yaya. That's one of his more confident champions. But then again, if you're a support player, much like the Varus ready carry, if you're not a good Rakan player as a support after all the years of dominance he's had since like season 7, season 6, what are you doing?
Monkey's win rate on the Wukong has declined over the most recent years, but once upon a time, he was absolutely ridiculous on this champion. See what he can do here today. He's got a good setup for it. I think there's a great teamfight comp here from WE. A lot of target access, a lot of ability to threaten, theoretically, immobile or long-range carries.
Last year, he was 1-7 on the pick.
Yeah.
It was really not good for him. He started to pick up some wins on it again this year, but in terms of my recent memory, hasn't been fantastic at this champion. And now he actually has to go into a pretty nasty disengaged champion of that Ornn. Ornn has definitely been creeping back into the meta. Hoya likes his tank matchups here too. NIP do have a significant CC chain. It's a little bit janky. Like, everyone's dealing damage at different ranges. You know, the Rise is different. Well, the Ambassador's much shorter range, but then you've got the Rise is like mid-range, and then the Jhin is long range, and the Ornn's trying to like bridge the gap between all of them to pin someone in place so everyone can get there.
Yeah, I will say there's a decent amount of follow-up, right? Like, Ornn ult could follow up on a Jhin W, the Ambassador ult can follow up on that, the Bard ult can follow up on quite a lot of that, the Rise Realm Warp theoretically can assist with that as well. But I agree, it's not like necessarily you have everyone in the same class of champion, even if I do think there are tools there to follow up on the majority of picks, even if they come from slightly different ranges, which maybe isn't the worst thing ever. For WE, I'd argue it's a little bit more straightforward. Just press R on the big team fight. Great.
Definitely helps. This Guon kid is a bit of a carry. Yeah, of course he played a lot in the Ambassador jungle last year on DFM because he was in the LCP. Joined one of the most famous minor region teams of all time. Of course, now they're in a major region at Detonation Focus Me, one of the Japanese legendary organizations. And yeah, the Ambassador was one of his calling cards, really. Of course, before that, he was on T1 Academy. And he was really quite vaunted. Vaunted, is that the word?
Vaunted works, yeah.
Yeah. He was praised quite a lot coming out of the academy scene. Had a bad first year in pros. This is his second year. He's hoping to improve upon that. We'll get onto that rift, and we'll see, of course, he can lead his team to victory here.
To the rift we go. Of course, there will be no Gyos, as we are online. Alex, I'm going to leave you very briefly with this, so I may decant my tea.
Yeah, put it into the cup.
Oh, that's what. That's actually. But it would leak possibly. No, it's
Sam,
it's
Sam.
so
It literally,
stupid.
Sam.
You're so right.
Sam, you're just there like, oh yeah, but I'm gonna put this liquid into a cup, but the cup might. Sam, it just held a coffee in there.
It's a paper cup, but yeah, no, you're right. I know.
Sam, if
I
it would
didn't
leak,
think this through.
Sam,
you're right.
Sam, put the damn tea. Oh, I just.
No, no, it's fine. You're right. I had a moment, Alex.
I sometimes am. You know, on rare occasions, I can.
That's very reasonable. I hadn't. Okay. Yeah, no, that was.
It's all good, Sam. I thought I'd get you some pomegranate green tea.
I'm quite excited for this, actually.
Heals pops in that bot side on both sides. We see this quite a lot, actually. We used to see... You just attached the...
Well, I didn't. The cup did.
Well, for those of you that don't see that, which is everyone, the coaster came up with the cup.
And then fell off on me.
It's always a little bit scary. I know, terrifying, this tea drinking business.
It's quite.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, but we see this in bot lane a fair amount with heals being popped. Basically just make sure that no one gets a free auto attack on the other side of the lane really effectively. So giving up an extra auto attack in the early levels, particularly with stuff like Jhin, with double range, because of course if you're doing double range, then actually both of them have that heal move speed to potentially get an extra auto attack off. So you can get yourself an extra like 100 damage on the enemy target, both of them auto attack the same person. So Chinese bot lane 2v2 tech has basically been, yeah, you heal to get that extra auto attack in the trade.
Good little chunk there. The Battle Dance will deny the additional auto damage there.
I'm happy. You know, I'm down with this violence, Sam.
Yeah. That's a decent chunk there from Kara, who's burned through quite a lot of mana there, and Kara's using that rock surfing to dodge out on some of the skill shots. Rise, not that skill shot heavy, but the skill shot he does have quite important.
Why is he glowing gold? Oh, he's got the triple tonic on. He's got they've both got the triple tonic. It's like, wow, they look so prestige right now.
The golden kappa for the day, guys.
Is that all like... You know, in like those anime scenes or like JRPG scenes when there's something happens and like everything goes bad, and then like you come back with like either some kind of divine blessing or some kind of shock plot twist. It's like, oh, I'm glowing golden to show that something's different. I've been revived. Why we're like I was trying to think the way that they did it in Dragon Ball. But I can't. I mean, that's literally just they go petition the afterworld and go like, by the way, the world's about to just die. Can we bring him back? Hang on, magical journey in towards the bot side. Gorn's coming in as well. Good knock up though.
Here's a really good disengage. Now Jaws actually the one in potentially a bit of danger here. He's going to have to back away, having lost a fair amount of his HP. Good counter there from Yao Yao.
Yeah. As we said, pretty confident on the old Rakan, but then again, most support players are. Tell you what, it's going to be a hell of a discussion when it comes to when I start playing out best. So what I want to do is by class of champions, not role of champion. Ooh, just stop the recall. Did Guon go back? Yes, he did. But when I'm trying to do my, top 10 champions of all time by class of champion. I'm not exactly sure how I'm going to break up support / enchanter, engage champion, stuff like that. Marksman's a pretty easy one. But outside of that, it's a little bit difficult actually. But Rakan will be very close to the top of whatever list he's in because he's really, really broken.
He is quite. There's a bit of a chunk. Are you doing so? Yeah. Will you decide what's the merits and demerits of going towards a class or like a role in terms of your delineation and stratification?
It's more about like making it easy for a viewer to follow.
Yeah.
Because you could just do it by bot lane, top lane, blah, blah, blah. But then you're comparing such different champions, it doesn't really feel
that's
fair. Whereas if you're comparing similar class of champions, it's easier to actually compare one-to-one. It's like marksman, you can kind of compare one-to-one-ish.
Yeah.
Across history anyway. Tanks, you can fairly do the same as well. Mages, potentially. Assassins. Assassins is a very intricate topic, by the way, because the actual assassin part of most assassins' kit is not why they're picked in pro. Most assassins are picked because either they're a big lane bully, or they have like an engage factor on it too.
Yeah.
So you have the best assassins typically across modern league have been the ones with an engage factor. So Kiana had that for a little while. Fizz had that for the early years of league with his ults as well. So that's where things get quite interesting between them. But it means that actually you're not actually judging assassins by whether they're a good assassin or not, because that only really plays to solo queue. Because Riot has intentionally kept them nerfed so people don't get frustrated, because they don't know how to teach people how to play against assassins, which I find quite annoying because I really like playing them.
I say this as an Evelyn player, like you basically teach people how to ward. It's the deal with Evelyn. If you ward camps, life is so much simpler. People don't get how to use control wards.
Especially in the early days. In the early days when she was invisible from the start of the game, and counter jungling was a lot easier. Assassin was so nasty. Yeah, but then you look at all the other assassins, basically it's about whether they're a lane bully or not. Things get a little bit different when they were combo reliant. So obviously, I mean, I think one of the best assassins of all time is Ahri, right?
Yeah.
See, particularly when that came around, Vi Ahri comps, either in the very early days, that's how T1 won that famous 2013 Summer Best of 5, or of course later on as well. Realm Ball towards bot side.
Get the heal off, and there is a ghost proc as well. They really want this. Yao Yao battle dance away, disengages somewhat. Monkey in the river, fighting over this scuttle crab. Is that level 6?
That's the level 6 scuttle crab.
Yeah,
they're fighting over the 6-minute scuttle for the jungle level 6.
That's the shove back onto Guwon, who does get a repudiate shield up, hopping away. The deadly flourish lands, and that's a decent chunk onto Yao Yao, who doesn't enjoy that amount of damage. Scuttle crab starts back up again, and I think WE have won this trade.
They have. So Monkey's going to get the Cyclone first. Guwon's forced to low HP, will not get that level 6 scuttle crab. This has been one of the most important parts of this year's meta, really. Monkey gets level 6 and immediately goes to Dragon afterwards.
Good stun there onto Yao Yao. Same position as last time, looking for a potential grand entrance. Stepped out of it, does assume, gets the 4th shot, but about wins out on that trade by having the arrow. The hail of arrows after is good. Will not find the kill, but will force the reset.
Ouch. Yeah, Varus, pretty good when he gets to go through all of those different stacks. Doesn't matter whether he's poke or on hit. He punishes you with that. So Monkey uses his team to help him get that bot scuttle. That was the first dragon of the game. And I tell you what, Sam, W off to a good start. Now, if they roll through this, keep Monkey in the game, and keep Guwon down, who's a very important player too, NIP, perhaps we'll see ourselves a 3rd game here.
I somewhat agree. And all honesty, I think WE have got the earlier spiking comp as well. Like, they're the ones with the Varus, the Rumble, the Talia even, compared to a Ryze, Jhin, Ornn, even the Ambassador. You're kind of looking at 2+ items there, really, to be truly threatening. And that means in this early stage, at least, particularly once those ultimates come rolling on around, I don't think I want to play the Varus Rumble, or into the Varus Rumble too aggressively.
Yeah, I've been reminded of Talon Jungle in chat. Oh, Talon Jungle in 21 Worlds was not okay, actually.
Not Kiana Jungle, Camille Jungle, anybody? Remember?
Oh, that was so broken. Yeah.
So, what do you think of, like, if you're talking across the breadth of history, would be the top 3 junglers for Pro? So I think Lee Sin has to be number 1 across history.
I actually wonder whether you have to go towards someone like Sejuani instead. Because Lee Sin has not really been relevant in Modern League. He's definitely up there in the top 3, but I don't think he's up there for Modern League.
I think across the breadth of history, because I think it's probably Lee Sin, Sejuani plus X.
Yeah, because Sejuani wasn't around in the early years, but then ever since like Season 6 onwards was kind of perma-pick ban. Well, see, Season 5 kind of like been permanently in.
She's not been around the last couple, to be fair. She fell away again over the last 2 or 3.
She came back again last year.
Briefly.
Yeah, she was.
But basically, once AD mids disappeared, you didn't get the same synergies. It felt a lot harder to play her again.
Yeah, that one's going to be really hard because I think that I mean, there's stuff like Olaf, which is super broken for like about 3 years, but that's not long enough to really have.
No, I agree.
Xin Zhao's actually up there now, but not from early league. That was in late league. That's ever since like 21, 22. Xin Zhao's been.
I agree.
Insanely powerful.
So I think it might be something like Lee Sin, Sejuani, Xin Zhao, with an honorable mention to people like Elise. I know she's fallen away from jungle now, but for a decade she was ridiculous.
Going towards bot side. This is the Ragan they're jumping on though.
Oh, good double grand entrance. The problem is he's interrupted mid battle dance and goes down. I appreciate the attempt to disengage you. At least keep your AD carry alive.
Guwon presses the ult, goes unstoppable. It means that Yaoyao can't make it out alive. Well played by Guwon to not get caught in that CC chain, actually turning what would have been a double knock-up into just a single. However, 3 grubs to the side of WE does mean they get to push in towards mid lane. Rumble is unattended top side as well, building up a minor CS lead there. And Rakan will teleport back into the mid lane as well. 3 plates is the cost of that play in mid lane.
It is, but it does get you a number of plates, but you do get that kill. So you know what? NIP now with the gold lead, so they'll take what they can here. And it is a good move there with their globals and the power of something like the Ambessa. That kind of break point we need to see from NIP with something like the Ambessa getting to a kill threshold will be quite important, because they are going to be quite reliant on getting those chain CC to death combos off.
So Guwon's actually here in time to defend, or he will be here pretty close. I think he's not here in time actually. With that HP, Hoya can just die.
They'll try and interrupt him, and they will not be able to get the reactivation on the ult. I appreciate the attempt. Monkey spins away, and they get the kill.
You can see Guwon's here right now, and he just beelined there. He went bot lane, recalled, and then just immediately beeline top, and he couldn't make it there in time. Hoya didn't have high enough HP. If you're going to survive a dive, you need over half HP, really. It's very hard to survive with low HP on a dive versus champions like that. Yeah, Angie, interesting you mentioned, like, because this is the are they playing the T1 Bard and the T1 Varus on opposite sides of the rift? That's kind of cool.
Sorry to interrupt, Alex. Check Monkey's infantry.
Oh, yeah, he did this the last time he played it too. Yeah, he played the Profane Hydra. Actually, he lost a game because he played this and too squishy and died earlier in the split. One of their losses was actually when he just got exploded on this champion because he was too squishy.
Into corruption just went wide there. A little bit scary for about briefly, but won't lose more than half his HP bar, which is still significant. But he gets to stay in lane, and there's a little bit of a heal there from the Gleaming Coil.
Yeah, the Gleaming Coil helps. Yeah, so funnily enough, I know a lot of players at a pro level, Angie, they choose which skin they play based on which variant of Varus they're going to play. So if they want a more auto-attack reliant skin, maybe they'll go towards the auto-attack animation they like. So for instance, I really like Arctic Op. I know you don't like that one as much, but Arctic Op Varus is a very satisfying auto-attack sound and animation. Whereas for Poke Varus, I know a lot of people did like Darkstar for a while, and I really like Infernal Varus is pretty good for the Q-Poke actually. But yeah. Cube. Oh god. Yeah, Hoya is actually a bit. This is one of the issues that we had with both Hoya and Cube, actually. They're both similar flawed players in this regard. When they fall behind a game, they're not great at staying within the game. Now, Cube is ahead. He's 1,000 gold up. Hoya could...
He's alright. Just about.
Sam, that equalizer didn't do any of that hitting stuff, Sam.
No, it didn't. Cube missed. I think he was perhaps expecting someone to stay in front of the tower. They did not. Either way, the read is wrong, and Hoya does get to sort of save. He's 2 levels down, by the way.
Yeah, well, that's partly because of the role quest. The role quest, I think if you manage to gank top lane successfully and deny a wave, and you get plates to get the, well, right now, this is like 30 seconds of the role quest being in. We'll see how long it takes Hoya to get that. But yeah, no, so it's quite interesting to see how, with champions with different playstyles between poke or on hit or, assassin or tank or blah, 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 it's some different champions have been around that across. Some people prefer different skins for different variants of it. So, for instance, AP Cogmore and AD Cogmore, I know that some people really prefer different versions of that. So, for me, I really enjoyed playing, like the parade Corki, the Cogmore one, like the Dragon one, Dragon Dance one for on hit, because just like the auto attack with the fireworks is really cute.
Yeah. Got another thought for that jungle conversation we're having, Alex.
Dragon went down, we just went but yes, go on.
But yes, it did indeed. That was quite important.
Okay.
I wonder whether Nidalee has to be top 3.
Oh,
hear me out.
That's actually a good point. Nidalee was so oppressive for so long.
And I think she was also the champion which determined whether you were really an elite jungler or not. Because there was a long time when the likes of Accidental engaged bot lane, Tempered Fate buys time, will have to have this conversation after the violence. How dare you interrupt this? The quickness interrupted. Deadly Flourish, backstep, but the curtains get called. This gets scary. Dodged a couple. And this means top 4. I appreciate the attempt. They get out to safety. Couple ults burned on both sides.
So, points in favor of Nidalee. She had like several worlds where she was perma-pick ban, and I do count ban rate into this to a certain extent, by the way. So actually Pantheon raises up in priority there too from some of the later things. But yeah, I think ban rate actually does go into it as well. So for instance, when we come around to like assassins and mages, actually Kassadin needs to be up there because of that, because he is one of the most powerful ban rate champions in the entirety of League history from Season 3, Season 4 with a 98% ban rate Kassadin.
LeBlanc as well probably has to be the consideration there. How many players made their name on that champion?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely up there. Monkey, you may be looking for the fight. Here comes the Cyclone. Has that damage.
Damage. That's the Profane Hydra. Flash away, can't quite get it. In comes the Weaver's Wall. There's 3 members. Public execution buys some time, but I don't know if there's quite enough. Over comes Assume. This is getting really scary for W. The Deadly Flourish lands onto one. Massive CC chain. And WE don't confirm the kill. And it all goes so very wrong.
And they're so squishy. All three of these members have gone either for a squishy build or a squishy champion. The Rakan's not tanky. Profane Hydra doesn't give you that staying power. You can see right there, the flip back from NIP as they get the CC in was so powerful. NIP is going to be able to walk in towards mid lane, and we're saying, look, WWE, great start. They're ahead of the game. Monkey's getting places on the Wukong as well. Surely this is looking like a game 3 angle, but NIP with those kills back, there's so much gold going back into the Ambessa now too, might just change things. Monkey goes over the wall, gets the extended range of that W, and it is good damage, but once you see it turned around, look how much damage he takes as well. Half HP from just one combo, basically. A little bit of an extra bounce there too. And Guon, you know, we were wondering whether it would buy enough time. The answer is yes. Yes, it did. Jin gets into the play, and then we're on the retreat.
Yeah, and I've also got to call it out. Karis, if you're going to go that deep, hit the skill shots. The honest answer, he goes that deep, doesn't actually really tag Guwon or care. Both get out, gets buffered onto by the public execution. It all goes very, very wrong.
Are we watching Monkey Way? That's the yeah, well, he's going up top side, see if he can get himself some more monkey business in there. Care will burn down here.
That's a little better. Monkey gets that one, and again, monkey see, monkey do, and you get the both sides of the monkey coin this time around.
Well,
the monkey's paw is curly.
And the great thing about the Profane Hydra for this build is that it does a ton of damage even when you don't have ults as well, so your regular combo is actually pretty scary. Is now down level 10 to level 11 though, to Guon's Ambessa, who's going towards the Eclipse, Death's Dance second, which is a very strong item. By the way, I did see that Sheo built it first item in LEC the other day.
Oh, interesting.
And people are like, oh my god, why is he building this first item? Statistically, it's a fantastic first item in jungle, particularly. The armor actually gives you better clear speed because it helps your pet damage. And just in general, if you build Eclipse, you should probably be building Death's Dance instead. It does have, like, you look across the stats across every single game in any situation. It has, like, an insanely high win rate. Cube is going to get ulted here.
Isn't that turret is not really going to do much. That Deadly Flourish proc was nasty. Ghost Blade value is good. Can't turn it around. And Hoya helps Assume get the kill and the turret down bot lane.
Procs the brittle, Sam. CC comes through and it ends up meaning you get just that orbital just shatter on it. Yeah, it really hurts.
Chains of Corruption tickled the hairs on the back of Duo's neck there, but won't quite connect. So the chains are only mildly out of line and not fully corrupt.
Yeah, it's like yarn of corruption.
Yarn of corruption.
Yeah, that's what you do to like threaten your cats or something. That's just the feed going a little bit wild there. It's all good. I was hoping there wasn't a PC freeze. It wasn't. We're good.
No, it's wonderful. 1,300 gold lead to NIP right now. We've got 50 seconds till Dragon. I will note that WE have gotten every neutral objective so far. Herald, Grubs, and 2 Dragons. So, for all we've been talking about the plays on screen, some of those additional bits have been going WE's way in the end.
Seem just cancelled Yaya's recall there, by the way, with that W. And yeah, by the way, not to detract from the point, the Ghostblade value against this team is actually really high, because again, we're looking at Monkey with a 0 tank build. No one has any armor anywhere, actually. Even Cube has gone for Sork Pen Boots, and even then he would have been going towards the Moat Treads, if anything, because he would be against double AP solo lanes. The Ghostblade is really nasty for the gym. And typically this would be a Mosquito build, but because he's against a team with basically no HP stacking, basically no armor, this is actually best in slot here. It gives you the damage access, and it means that you're gonna sting with those mosquito bites.
Alec, do you mind just refreshing the feed, because it has desynced with the audio just a touch?
Sure, well.
Thank you very much.
See, we used to have that issue last year. We don't have that as much now, luckily.
Now, Hoya as an app doesn't seem to have that happen. Hoya's on my screen, which was definitely not helping.
Dragon spawning now, by the way, so of course we have to talk about those item breakpoints. Again, NIP coming in probably slightly favored here, but the missed ult doesn't help.
Nice attempt, doesn't work as WE split apart, and the scatter works to avoid that Temper Fate. Chains of Corruption this time lands. Care is Mikhail's, but will not be allowed to survive as he's bounced around and goes down. Yao Yao burns out relatively low. Duo survives. Herald in mid means the turret also goes very low. Oh my days. That arrow lands. Karis walling people off here best they can. The seismic shove lands onto Assume. Public execution well wide. And NIP, I think you've just got to call it now. You've missed a lot of your key ults.
I think they could have fought if that ultimate did land, but now that's going to be away from them. WE, important fight for them. Early soul point, threat of that soul later. If they get an infernal soul, I don't think they'll care about all of the other things which went wrong with parts of this game.
Indeed, they should get this bot lane turret as well on top of that, or at least a decent chunk. Hoya is coming on down, so should be able to stop anything more than that, so I take my words back. Either way, WE have found themselves the win condition. Let's look again, basically at the pick that gets turned around.
Yeah, and missed Bard ult. definitely puts Draw out of position as he looked for it as well. Now, I thought the WE had actually over-invested into this. They used the Varus ult, they end up using the Wukong ult, they end up using the Rumble ults as well. But then, you know, Draw walks up and loses all his HPs. That really didn't help him. So effectively, it's a 3v5 despite there only being 1 kill. And NIP can't fight back because the ult from that investor misses. So now, what's happening on the rest of the map now? Well, it feels like now WE with that third dragon are going to force NIP into some real macro problems later on because they can't afford to give up control around the bot side of the map. Luckily for them, though, it's not like they have to kind of ward Baron and Dragon at the same time. Sometimes when you get very early soul threat, it's a little harder to get it on the fourth one because you can't really balance it against the Baron in the same way, particularly early into the game. Baron just takes too long to kill.
And at this point, we are starting to get towards ornaments. We have just got the second Dynamo from K. It's about 15 stacks away from getting the Seraph's Embrace unlocked properly. Death's Dance is done for Guwon as well. Second, a little bit of engage here onto Monkey, who does Blast Cone out, but now Hoya is kind of trapped in Orc. But there's a Realm Up and a Call of the Forge God, and I wonder whether Cube might be getting flattened down to a square again, and indeed is.
Yeah, formed into a two-dimensional object. Lose thine Z-axis. Be gone. Monkey does have that Triforce now, so this is the same build he went for the last time I saw him play this, actually, which was... now he's at the 2 items, that squishiness becomes a little less of a factor, but it is just worth noting that the Profane Hydra doesn't give you an extra, 300, 400 HP in the way that a Triforce or a Sundered Sky does. So, when you drop one of those items, you're dropping a significant amount of HP and doesn't have defensive boots built up either. Tower does go down to WE, the mid lane turret, always an important one. That'll give him a very good platform to fight for that dragon later, because they can push up a little bit better for that vision control, try and threaten that entrance into River.
Indeed, they can. How long have we got until ornaments really fly for the rest of the team? In fact, there they are starting to come in, and Guwon's got the Death's Dance upgraded to just give that little bit of extra survivability. I think that is quite important here when you are realistically the sole diver for the majority of this game.
I think it would have been better to go towards Shojin, though. You are against double AP solo. And I guess if you feel like the damage is going to come through from Jungle AD carry, sure.
Stats in general are pretty good for upgraded Death Dance, if I remember correctly, as well.
It's the same gold value now for all stats, so I'm pretty sure.
It is the same gold value, but certain stats are more equal than others with gold value, if you see what I mean. So, like, there are certain stats that, like, per point of gold, so to speak, you still get more value from them.
Yeah, I was wondering whether Shojin would be better just for the HP, for kind of working against both kinds of damage from the enemy team. But now Guwon has upgraded Death's Dance. It's going to be really hard for Monkey and About to do much about, because the physical damage just isn't going to land the same way. He is going for a more Malmortius third, so he's not going to be going towards something, well, not that really. Ambassador goes for Starix anyway, but that's the lifeline item he's going for. Foregoing something like the Eclipse, which is fairly typical on the Ambassador. Not going to lie though, I think Eclipse has been too heavily nerfed over time. I think that item actually should start to fall away from Pro Meta at some point.
Well, we'll see. All the way. Shadow Flame done for Cube, by the way. Wants that upfront smack from the Rumble, rather than the consistent DPS, something like a Bloodhound's Curse.
Yeah. If he hits the Bard, the Jhin, they're gonna have really hurt, because it's gonna be the double pen. Got the Shadow Flame and that Sword Pens as well. Another ult missed,
but it is gonna get the flash off about, and that means the public execution lands. The curtains are called as well, and I don't know whether they want to tag this one out. The final shot lands onto Monkey, leaves them at half.
Okay, teleport's coming in from Cube. He doesn't want to be there, though.
Oh, he's just not tanky, is he? He gets sent to Rune Prison and will not pass go. The Call of the Forge God comes on forward. They will look for more. As comes the Realm Warp. They have got extended access range. The comp might be a little unconventional, but the access is damn good, and they pick up another 2.
You may fire when ready. The Orbital Artillery comes through. Macron spinning up. Death Star loaded. I can't think of another orbital defense / artillery platform. You get the idea. NIP fire from orbit, and WE get splattered on the windshield. They try and, call in the Rumble late, but as you were saying, it's just not tanky. We'll go back to this again, because it's not a great Bard ult, but it does split Monkey from About and forces the flash. Then the double CC hits. I think as soon as this CC hits, you're losing someone. And I do wonder whether just WE... well, you have to teleport to the turret there. That's a really bad teleport. That's a really bad turret.
Karis isn't even there at the time.
Dragon's now available, and now NIP, of course, we're going to try and stop the soul. WE need to get the soul. If they don't get the soul, I think the gold they just gave over is going to be very hard to play against.
Dancing Grenade follows Yao Yao running away. Dragon is indeed picked up by NIP. There is no soul to be claimed. Magical Journey should allow them to escape, and NIP Blast comb their way over towards this mid lane in a turret to clear out that wave, and prevent W even getting more than just a crystallized proc. I
Assume has the Infinity Edge, and he has the upgraded Youmu's as well.
Ooh, Tempered Fate was probably a requirement there, actually. Doesn't actually save him in the long run, though, as over comes Monkey and Assume gets blasted. Deadly Flourish stands, but there's no real follow-up.
Oh, well, maybe there is now with this. Do they call through? Hang on, the Talirol's going to cancel the ultimate at the curtain call.
I worried a little bit there because the initial part of the wall shoved Monkey to one side, but it is enough. All the while, though, Care is on this tier 2 bot lane.
Okay, so we'll get something back from there. Not a bad attempt by WE. Again, they show they have a pretty good amount of damage bring to bear as well. Worth noting in that fight, Assume did actually have barrier. He was trying to maybe barrier bait there as well, but Monkey almost had the damage. It's a fairly close game. We're saying, look, you know, W really do need that soul, otherwise the gold they're giving over, it becomes a bit scary. I still think NIP are in the advantage. I think W have such a squishy composition that NIP are very happy playing through, again, this very long-range pylon composition.
And again, I'm looking at Rise, I'm looking at Ornn. These are not champions that are known for being early game champs. They want to come online later on into the game. And guess what? We're at 25 minutes. The 2-item threshold has been breached. The ornaments are coming on through. The point of power for WE was 1 items, level 11, that kind of breakpoint with things like the Rumble and the Talir and the Varus, and I just don't think they hit that point hard enough.
One of the funny things about having multiple chats open is that sometimes chats just go in completely different directions. We have one chat, which is Onivia's chat, which has that's the pro monkey chat, Sam. Then we have Twitch chat, which is the very anti-monkey chat. Now it is basically just one person each one like repping their guy, and I appreciate that, I do. But I do find it quite interesting how chats can diverge like that. Personally, I think sometimes it's a difficult game under high pressure scenarios, and misplays are somewhat going to happen through that.
Black Cleavage got picked up by Monkey, actually, so that 3rd item. He's not bothered with the boots, just going for that raw upfront DPS, and you know what? Into the double tanks, I can see the thought process here.
Merc treads would be really
know,
nice.
It's risky, but then again, in this position of the game, can you afford to play defensive? I don't know, especially as he's the one with the gold, really.
NIP finally get that mid lane turret. Of course, their own mid lane turret fell down a long time ago. This is a very scary Rise on top side, about to complete that actualizer, level 16. Rod of Ages ticked over a little while ago. NIP starting to get a real chokehold set up now. They're even in turrets for the first time in this game since they started falling, really. And WE, while they're not behind a crazy amount of gold, we've seen what happens with these compositions. If NIP actually get the CC onto a target, they don't really get to live. I'm naming my next pet Monkey with the eye, of course. Gotta stand by my man. Fair play, fair play. Can appreciate that. More of my mortals completed for Guon. He's happy with that. And of course, as you were saying, you know, the XP from top lane starting to lead through to those upgraded items as well. I suppose Care would get an upgraded Saras, I suppose. You don't want to jump into the fog of war, my friend.
Ooh, that was
It's
a nice
fine.
observer toggle.
Yeah. But, no, I like it, because sometimes it doesn't lead to a kill, but you can imagine it could have done.
Yeah.
Sometimes one of the things which is probably most valuable to do if you can do, hang on, there might be a realm walk coming through here. Cube is if they spot him, Cube, I was actually wondering if that would lead to an extended play. I don't think they quite had the information to go for the play though.
You can see what the observers were hinting at there, and I don't blame them for the thought process, because with that ward just over that wall towards the blue side top lane, could have been a bit problematic. Here's the engage, Q1 flashes out the attempt there with a seismic shot quite well, but now the comes on forward, so that definitely does. NIP begin to fly. I don't think they're in pajamas anymore. They've dressed up for the occasion, and the occasion is WE's funeral.
I don't know, man. NIP is more like ninjas in tuxedos. It feels like more like a spy movie. Call it 007, the way that they're managing to pull out all the secret tech and assassinate their opponents. WE, blink and you miss it, completely wiped off the top side of the river. And NIP used that engage range again to win a fight.
They do at least take Assume down, so you get one back. But that's all it is, and here comes the Baron, at which point I think NIP are going to be in a terrifying position. Souls in 35 seconds, maybe there's a chance to flip here before the Baron allows them to push for too much gold. But let's have a look at this replay and how it all played out.
So we did see in the picture-in-picture that Monkey had his flash blown just before this fight by a Bard ultimate, despite the Bard ult's not available to hit you. Yaya doesn't quite get the great engage, and they over-funnel for the engage. The spell flux goes on to everyone, the Ornn passive goes on to everyone, and Guon catches the remainder after that point. A Realm Warp even bringing the reinforcements to finish off the fight. That is a beautiful fight from NIP.
Worth noting that off-screen Assume did die because Cube full sent it and killed him off-screen, by the by. Just worth knowing that's how he died at the end of that Baron play and why he doesn't have the buff on top of him.
Yeah, that helps. First death of the game there, by the way. He's managed to survive through the grand majority of the rest of it. Dragon started. WE can't even contest right now. They're not even close to it. It's going to go down. So even though they got the... Oh, okay, it's not about packing. Pick onto the bot, actually. Dwarf's going to likely go down here.
TP behind. This could get interesting. Monkey does at least help get that one, but then they go with the public execution. They burn quite a lot. That's decent healing, but it's not enough for Guwon falls. Make that an additional couple back, though, and for all they fight, it's the 2 for 2.
NIP were very close to getting a Death Stance turnaround there for the Ambassador, but there is a lot of Baron buffs now gone.
Yeah.
They lost one at the start of it, now they've lost another 2. Cube still on a side lane, wasn't present at the fight. Does mean that he needs to come back at some point. I will say, there is still 2 Baron buffs to use, even though you got rid of the majority of them. But for now, happy to get some gold out of that top side and get himself even further ahead. He does have a lot of items as this Rumble. Perhaps he can make play of his own next time his flash comes up, trying to assassinate the backline the way he did in that last play around the Baron.
He does at least get the tier 2 top lane, so he does get a turret back. The problem is, again, it does cost a couple extra turrets, but hey, they were likely falling anyway. A couple plates picked up through those inhibitor turrets as well. 1 plate remains in mid lane. Bot lane, the full turret is claimed. A few minutes now until the next dragon spawns, which would be NIP's third. The Infernal Dragon's on a relatively high damage comp as well. Feels no bad thing to pick up. So what 4th item Guwon's going to be going towards with this kind of build? I wonder whether it might be something like the Starex, just continue to play for the bruiser angle rather than anything else.
You can't do that with the Maw because they're both line lane. In fact, I actually mentioned that. Earlier. In fact, I was like, oh, he's going towards the Maw. A little bit strange to get that there, but if you have Maw and Death Stance, you have very good mixed resists. He's got the Shojin already. Whatever, he'll get something.
GA.
Well, that doesn't build out a
double long swords. Yeah,
it's not that one.
Yeah.
So at this point, it's whatever. Like, he's a Ambassador. You'll go for like a bruiser item. Could even be something like the Endless Hunger at this point.
Yeah.
Basically, how it's going. Okay, so again, the gold lead's not crazy. It's just NIP. I feel like their comp is just so much easier to get that first pick off, and W are very, very squishy.
Yeah, we'll look for a Gleaming Core. Won't quite land it. Question for Hey Now You See Me. Do you have a problem with John Cena? Because obviously you can't see him.
Well,
So
you can,
like,
that's why you see him instead. Hang on, the ult's coming on the turret, disables the turret. Here comes the combo.
Never mind WWE, we're looking at raw action over here as Care will come on in and eviscerate a few people with some spell fluxes. It won't be any more than the triple kill, but a full house will do, split between the solo lanes.
It's not WWE, Sam, it's L for WE as NIP go jump on from the top rope again as NIP just keep swinging for the fences. This has been a very dominant engaged game from NIP as they will secure first place in group perseverance through the tiebreaker.
It doesn't matter what they want, NIP are the ones swinging harder this time around, and we'll be going on to rumble a little bit further on in the Knight's Road stage. An attempted engage from Monkey, a last gasp as the Cyclone peters out into a gentle breeze that NIP will use to blow their hair artfully as they take their winning photos.
Care flashes up the team of the now deceased Fun Plus Phoenix, their mid laner for many years, onto a new organization. He's had a good game here, 10 kills on the rise. NIP will end the series 2-0. WE, we thought they started very well in this split, but they can't end it in the same way. They're going to go through second, and now it will be NIP versus IG, first round of those playoffs at the Knights Road, and then Top Esports versus WE, a team which they actually knocked out of spring playoffs last year with their rosters last year. And that'll be our first matchup at the Knights Road.
Indeed, it will be. Looking forward to seeing that. There are, I believe, no more tiebreakers today, so that'll be the only game we get. I hope you enjoy banging around for it all the same. I'm Initialise. That's Nymaera. We are brothers. We cast League of Legends. Thank you all for being here. For those of you who are new to the channel or still sticking around and fancying a way to come and support us, a few ways you can do that. Number one, Alex.
Kofi.
That's it. There is a Ko-fi link. Please do donate to the Ko-fi link. It'll work agnostic of what channel you're watching on, which is a nice way to support if you're only a YouTube viewer. Number two, Alex.
Opera GX.
Opera GX. Indeed, we are sponsored by Opera GX. You can see this fun little widget down below us there. There we go. We've got 21 new users. That's quite cool. If you want to help us out, this will actually cost you no money. Just a minute and a half of your time, if that. It's a really cool browser. It's based on Chromium stuff, but is a lot lighter weight, very customizable, really good if you enjoy gaming and stuff as well. It's got a load of really cool integrations there. It's just a cool browser. And again, you can download it and go, you know what? Tried it, it's not for me, stop it, and it'll still support us. You could do that after 30 seconds, even if you wanted to, but actually, it's quite a cool browser. So my recommendation is, give it a go.
Yeah, we suggest you try that out as well. And then, of course, the other way you just support us is by liking, following, subscribing, and just spending some time here as well. We love spending time with you, watching the LPL like this, and continuing to tell the stories and analyze these teams and players alongside you all as well, and form our own little corner of the internet for LPL and Chinese League of Legends viewing. It's going to be a pretty short day today, folks. Not crazy. It's a 2-game series. Only been live for a couple of hours, but you know, after yesterday, I think we can use a little bit of a break.
Very true.
Sam, what are your plans today? Are you planning on streaming a bit?
I might do an hour or two. I still need to figure out what I'm going to play next, so I might just play a bit of League. I kind of want to do some normal games to figure out how Jace Jungle's feeling after the nerfs.
I'm sure he'll be pretty fine, Sam.
Yeah, I have a feeling he might be.
Just don't go for Dragon Steals and just play for Glass Cannon poke.
That's what I'm going to do.
And you'll be fine.
My impression is
And
just
hope,
Ghostblade opportunity.
I just hope you don't get, knocked and Oriana'd. That's it, you know?
That's fair.
Okay. Well, that's going to be it from us today. I'm going to stick around and wait for Sam to get ready on his stream, but then we'll raid over to him and see what he's doing, and then we'll see you another day. So in terms of what we're doing on this stream, so I won't be live on Onivia for a little bit, because the games will be off for just a little bit. I'm not sure exactly when the games are back, but we will have some games, of course, but at some point, because we'll have the Knights Road and then the playoffs as well. But yeah, we're going to probably play some variety. I might even get around playing Hades 2. I did want to play that at some point. Basically nothing there. Fair play. Good damage from Q, but really the engage combo from NIP was what won the day here. When is the LPL back on? I don't think there's an official date yet. Now, if I were to hazard a guess, there might be a break for Chinese New Year. And I would imagine we're going to get, because Knights Road is I don't know if it's best of 5 or best of 3 actually. I think they're best of 5. So, folks, we might have double best of 5 days coming up. I think we're going to have double best of 5 days coming up, and I think we'll probably have them. I would imagine Knights Road is in a couple of days' time. I reckon we'll have a day or two, and then we might have a day or two off, and then back for them. Then I'd imagine we'll have 2 best of 5 days, and we'll have 3 of them back to back for round 1 losers bracket and the qualification matches. So I'd imagine we only have a day or two off, max, one or 2 days. Well, I guess I'm going to go, wait, what a day, NIP win here. Wait, DNS made it through in LCK. Who are they playing today? Yo, they beat Nongshim? Are you kidding me? That's funny as hell. What do you mean? Oh my god. Wait, they beat Nongshim? That's funny as heck. What do you mean Pyoshik's winning in LCK again? Wheel the old man back into the... Oh my god. Damn, DNS actually glowing up. It's kind of crazy. Okay, I guess I'll... Well, Sam's not online just yet. Sam said he's having a bit of a... And then, you know, conspicuous... Be on in a second. He won on his Lee Sin too. Wait, he was playing Lee Sin? Damn. I can't believe that. I mean, I don't think Nongshim should be a good team, and I think they had that one series versus Italy, which kind of gave people hope, but then you realize, this team is not very functional. What I might do is, if Sam's gonna be live in the next minute, I can preload the raid. He better be live by the time. Okay, so if I start it now, you're going to be live, Sam. Okay, well, I'm starting it now. You have, like, 10 seconds. 5 seconds. Sam's not said if he's live or not yet. He's not live yet. Ah. Well, it's gonna go at some point. Player of the game is Draw. He should have had it for game 1. He gets it for game 2. I'm kind of surprised he got it for that one. Sam, you live yet? That doesn't sound like a very confident yes. But he didn't say whether he's live. He said yes, which makes me worried. Okay, goodbye. I'm gonna raid over now. See you in a bit, folks.